All right, buddies. You know what time it is. It's time to make some art. Now I have some really good news. I have some really great news for you. The good news is I went through and graded your eye drawings that you did. I haven't graded the nose or the mouth yet, but I'll get around to that pretty soon. And wow, I've been sending pics of those back and forth between myself and Miss Cadelis, and Mr. Jones, and Miss Latender, and we're blown away. Like, seriously, we are blown away. And you guys are too. I know you are. If you spent time on that, you got to be pumped with the way that those came out. So that's the good news, is everyone's killing it. This remote learning thing it's tough, man. It's tough on everyone, but you guys are killing it. You're stepping up, you're putting the time in, and you're better for it. You're learning a lot. The great news is I teach this, the facial features project, with every intro class. No one's blown us away like you guys have, like ever in my career. And every time we teach this, you see my camera shake a little bit there. I've still got my cardboard box. Every time I teach this, it's important to me that you guys don't just walk away with like one really, really decent eye drawing. You actually take the time to not only master this, but to get so good at this that you can draw anything after you're done with this process. So you're probably pretty curious. I've talked long enough. I want to show you actually what we have lined up for you. The really, really great news. Every day you guys have had to like do something new, either watch a video or read something we sent you. And then the next day, you move past that and we go on to something else. And part of the nice thing about remote learning is we haven't even dove into longer term projects. We're going to ease our way in. I'm going to start you guys with a 2-day project. So what I'm about to show you, this should take you 2 days. Okay? We're going to look through here and hopefully, based on how great you guys did with those first eye drawings, this should be exciting for you. Okay? So we got a few options for you, just given the fact that people are at different levels of familiarity with doing this. Some folks, their first eye drawing, like they probably spent a ton of time on it. Maybe it was challenging. You're going to be able to continue that and really, really master this. Other folks who either absolutely nailed it or who have just been super excited to get out some materials, some color, some other things, if you like painting. We're going to give that opportunity here, okay? So there's 3 different options. Option 1, 2 eyes with eyebrows and skin shading. Now you can see all of the shading that's done here around the eyes. And this is so important. I knew we just drew this line before for that line above that top eyelid. Here, I'll use the pencil, it's a little thinner. The line above the top eyelid, we drew a line for that, but look at all the shading that happens there. Look at all those dark grays and medium grays that are in there. Look at the waterline. This is all grays too. Now remember I told you that the white of the eye isn't exactly white. You see all those beautiful gray values in there. And these lashes, a lot of them, this is so, dark here. These are pretty deep set eyes, so there's not a lot of light hitting that. This is so dark that you really don't see the lashes until about this point here, and then you can kind of see them come up through there. If you're going with this route, take a really nice high quality photo of this. I really want to make sure that we can look at the differences between these two. They're not exactly the same. The shape is very similar, but on some people it's dramatically different, especially with that eyelid line. That will look different on one side than it does the other oftentimes. You can kind of see this is a little different here than it is here. Okay, so this one, really it's just, this is what you did before. You did that. And you probably didn't have the same type of development with all of those gray tones. We're asking that you do that. If you didn't try the eyebrow, we're asking that you do that. And because this is a 2-day project, you should dump some time into this, man. That's technically like 3 hours of class time that you should be spending on this. You can get a really great drawing done in that amount of time. Let's keep going. If you want a challenge, you can go ahead and try to take a photo from an angle. If you look at how cool and how dramatic this looks, I mean, that's a finished piece right there. If you were to draw something like this, and yo, for real, some of your drawings were almost at this level already, and you're only going to get better. If you guys can take an interesting photo of your eyes and work from that, you got some options at your disposal. Now, one thing I was going to mention, I'm just going to scroll up real quick. The proportion here, something important to remember. They say you can fit about a third eye. You can fit another eye, the width of an eye. Let's take a look here. You can fit that in this space. So when you're doing these drawings here, try to plan that out, map that out. It's really tough to actually match the sizes of these. Match the size of this circle to the size of this circle, and those are going to be the same. There might be some variation here, like the amount of this dark that we see versus that one, or maybe you're just positioned in a way that it doesn't look like it's even. This the rules apply some. There's still about that same amount of width compared to these, but it's not going to be exact, so you really just have to draw what you see. Okay, so that's option one. That's done in pencil. It's a great option for folks that either want some more time to perfect it, or they really enjoyed that first one and they want to take another crack at it, creating something that's more of like a complete piece. Your second eye drawing, it will come out better. I don't care how good your first one was, you just know more about it now. So take a look at some of these, watch some tutorials online if you want. Look up eye drawings and just try to get some notes from them. You notice today I'm not doing a drawing demo because I found these really great resources, and there's a ton for you to find online. Option two, check that out. Option two, you can draw one big eye. Now look at the size of these colored pencils that are here. This is colored pencil, believe it or not. If you remember doing colored pencils, quality coloring in middle school, chances are you never dove into it this deeply. If you have really nice quality colored pencils, Prismacolor, or just another really good brand, or colors that kind of blend together, that's what's going to give you all these beautiful areas and different amounts of color. Look at how much color is in here. There's pink, there's sort of gray, bluish gray. This is all in the white of the eye. In the skin tone, this is the stuff that even our advanced kids, we try to get them to really look at and really master. There's so much color in this skin tone. It's not whatever color crayon you have that says, skin tone or whatever you deem that to be. It's all of the colors. It's oranges, it's browns, it's tans. Those you might think, okay, well, obviously. But then there's some purples up here. There's, tones of green. Areas this space kind of cools down a bit compared to what's next to it over here and over here. It's just a little cooler of a color. Now, you guys had some practice in our painting unit, looking at color and trying to understand how to make those. This is going to really carry over. If you enjoyed painting, doing something like this might be really cool for you. Let's keep going. Now you'll notice, I'm going to go back up to the step. It says one big eye. You see how big that is? The reason it's that big is because you are not going to get that kind of insane detail if you work really small, or if you made it the same size that you made it last time. If you go really big, you can fit a lot of detail in there. You're going to be blown away, and you got 2 days to do this. So if you're doing 2 eyes in color, you can see these are probably about the size I made my eyes last time. They're really good. You can still get all that skin tone around there, which is one of the requirements for this 2-day project. And you can see it says tutorial. This was clearly part of a YouTube tutorial, so you can even look on there if you want to learn how to use whatever supplies you have with you. Maybe you have those fancy colored pencils and you want to try them out. you're not sure how to do it, look it up. These two eyes, I mean, this is also a finished piece. If you were to complete something like this, that would look phenomenal. This is a similar thing, but it's with paint. If you have watercolor, if you have acrylic at home, and if you really liked painting or you want to explore a little bit more about that, like blending colors. We didn't get into blending colors too much. Here's an opportunity for you to try it out. If you have that stuff at home, you know, crack it open. Chances are you haven't used it a ton. Now's the time. And one more painting here. Look at how big that is compared to that person's hand here. I mean, that's a huge canvas. Really nice. I think they maybe took some stylistic liberties here in creating those, but I like that stylistic approach. And at the very least, what they're showing us, if you were to hand something like this in, obviously it'd be dope, but all of those things we talked about, the eye shape, the two centered circles, the water line is there, the movement of the lashes, all that kind of stuff. As long as we see that you're retaining that information, you're able to apply it to this new thing, that's cool, man. That'll work. And then, option 3, get weird with it. Check this out. If you are into photography especially, or even if you just find a really cool image online, you want to recreate that, I guess I'm okay with that. I always love it when people do their own images. And this one, hopefully you're not crying for a real reason, but if you take a photo, maybe your makeup's smeared, or maybe you can just see like tears or redness in the eye or something that's interesting. This one's obviously done in black and white, but this would be like that step where you can choose to do a big eye. If you do one big eye, but you want to get a little bit weird with it, and you want to do something a little bit more interesting and artsy and cool, we absolutely support that, and you should definitely do that. Here's another kind of cool weird one. Some of you may have seen this image. I've seen it, I think it was like on a movie poster or something. That's obviously super good. If you handed in something like that, that'd be dope. But if you have any cool ideas, I want you to draw from the photo still. Do not make this up. All of the eye drawing should be from that photograph that you take. If you're really ambitious and you've been looking into a mirror, that's okay. You can continue that. Look into the mirror still. Do not just assume that you know everything about drawing eyes. Even if your first eye came out great, there's always more information in that picture, in that source image, than there is in our heads to answer some of the questions when something doesn't look right. So for something like this, if you found a second source image, hands or whatever else you wanted to add to this, you would draw that, almost kind of superimpose that. So you would draw that, you kind of block it out where that's going to go, and you still draw everything else as you see it. Then you can add other elements. Let me show you what not to do. This is fine, but I don't want this. This actually is almost completely devoid of observational drawing. No one has that many lashes, first off. I don't mind that there's other elements added, but there's really not much study of the eye. It's, I guess, an interesting concept. I'm not sure if it's executed super well. Hopefully the artist's name isn't on here. Lonely, Lonely Night. Sorry, buddy. But the main thing we're looking for is for you guys to still work from observation with this project, okay? So if you handed something like this, and really we could tell you just kind of made it up out of your head, you got 2 days to do this. It's not what we're looking for. We really want to continue with that success we saw, and we really want to make these as finished and phenomenal as you can. Guys, I cannot overstate how proud I am, how impressed we all were with your work. Now is when we get to like actually explore this and put our own little twist on it. And if there's been some materials or some ideas that you've had, this is where we can incorporate those things. Okay, so a fair amount of freedom. Do make sure that you kind of either write down what your options are. I'll probably put it on the post as well, but make sure that you don't just kind of completely wing it. There are still some requirements for this. You have to choose one of those three, and even on that third one where it says get weird with it, that's not the only thing. You really still should be either drawing big or drawing two eyes or doing it in color. I think those three things are at the very least the required thing about this project. All right, guys, I'm going to cut it off there, but as always, you guys know our office hours. You can get a hold of us whenever you want. I have not yet had anyone email me with a half-finished project asking for help, and I invite you to do that. If you you get stuck, or you just have a question, or you just want to, I don't know, you're pumped and you're not finished yet and you want to show us, that's super cool. What I will ask, and you're going to see it on the post as well, the first day that you have this, you're going to still submit something that day. You're going to take a progress picture. And this is how we're going to do it. It's how we do attendance. You're going to take, I don't want this to be on the screen while you're listening to me. Here, you can look at this one. That's super good. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, long-term projects. You guys will be submitting progress pics. That's how we know that you were working that day, and that's how we kind of mark you for attendance. I know attendance is a strange concept because you're at home, but they've been asking us to make sure that every day we have evidence that you guys have done something for our class. Okay, so that'll be on the post tomorrow too, reminding you. And good luck with this, guys. I'm really impressed. I'm really proud, and I'm just super excited to see what you come up with. All right, until next time.